All right, we're back. Another episode of MCA and BMAC. We're back at it. It's been a while.
It has.
It's been a while.
Busy schedule.
Busy schedules. All that great stuff.
But we're good.
We're good. We're back at it. All right, so we're going to jump right into it, man. We're going to do some recaps of the fourth qualifier of the Rolling Series. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And then we're going to jump right into Championship 2-Day.
That's right.
What that looks like, what's going to be, what we're looking to do. It's actually a tournament that we're both going to be a part of.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to be a part of the fourth qualifier because I was awarded a small mini grant for the Total Experience, which is a mentoring curriculum that I basically put together that teaches life skills and other great source of skills that you can use amongst your family current and generations to come. And so basically what I did with that was just created a system that will allow kids to understand how to fish, how to tie knots, how to get them started. We got books and programs and brochures and all that kind of cool stuff. So Healthier the Glades awarded us $5,000 to continue that process. And so we're super excited about that. So I wasn't able to fish the fourth qualifier because of that, but I did fish 3 tournament events. So I get a chance to fish the 2-day that's coming up. Brandon, however, fished it and did pretty well. We're gonna let him kind of.
Yeah, we we had to fish. It was we'd skipped one earlier in the year. I think I was gone somewhere on tour, so we skipped one and we had to fish this one, which was good. I mean, it's my favorite time of the year to fish. I love it. This time of the year, late fall, if that's what you want to call it. It's pretty much kind of our winter time down here. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the weather wasn't the greatest, but I kind of like fishing when it's blowing, when it's not optimal conditions. Yeah.
Does it stir them up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help the fishing by any means, and it was blowing pretty good. And when I got up that morning to go, I checked the weather. They said it was gonna be blowing east, northeast, and I'm like, okay, most of our stuff will be good. And then it turned and it shifted, and it was more out of like the west, northwest, and it made it a bear for where we were at. But honestly, it was good. Like I like fishing and stuff like that. I mean, I've seen it all by now in all the years that I've done it and traveled all over the country.
Right.
So it makes boat control that much more important in the wind and stuff like that. So, it wasn't easy. It's never easy. So we earned it.
So what type of adjustments? So before we get into like the catches and all that kind of cool stuff, like what are some of the adjustments you make on a tournament morning where you wake up and you're expecting it to be one way and a couple hours later it turns and it shifts and it does something completely different? Like what goes through your mind or mindset when those type of occurrences happen?
I mean, just, not a lot really changed for us. I mean, most of our stuff that we had got super dirty. Mm-hmm. And I really wasn't counting on that. So the 8 or 9 places that we had that we wanted to fish got pretty much cut down to about 3 of them.
Right.
And then, as to be expected, half your stuff that you think is good isn't as good or isn't going to work out that
on
particular
game
day. Right.
Yeah,
so
on game day. It's always different.
Right. So I mean, you always play that in there because I've had some really good spots that really weren't all that great. You know what I mean?
Right.
When the money was on the line. So, luckily for us, we kind of settled down and we made 2 areas work and we bounced around back and forth most of the day, and we had a place we could go catch some flipping, punching mats, and then we had some we could catch them swimming a jig. And it was kind of like 50-50. Like we'd make a pass and fish it really good, and then we go, flop over. And then, we start swimming a jig and and stuff like that. So then we just kind of bounce back and forth, and just kind of if it was good, we stay a little longer. If it wasn't so good, we'd go back to where we came from. Like I said, because everything we had pretty much got dirty, or there was just too much wind on it. Like you're not really gonna catch them, flipping mats when it's blowing directly in there
into it.
And them mats are rolling, and stuff like that. It's pretty much
dead.
It's pretty much dead. The water may be clean, and I'm not saying you can't get a few bites, but it's not gonna be your optimal.
Primary.
They just, for whatever reason, they just don't like. I don't think they can stay under it with the wind and waves coming.
Yeah.
I don't think they can stay positioned underneath them as easily as they can, most of the other time of the deal.
So technically, when it's moving, when the winds are very, very high, you probably should just throw some moving.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what we leaned on more so. We did catch our best fish. We caught it flipping. Caught another nice one flipping, but the rest of them come, swimming jigs.
So Lake Okeechobee, we always talk about this, man. Lake Okeechobee, again, is really, 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 really big, but in a lot of cases, it fishes really, 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 really small. We always say that. But Brandon is a big flipper. I'm a big flipper, and we both love the swim jigs as well. I will obviously keep that frog tied on, but the conditions have not been primary frog weather. But you will get some frog bites right now because them temps get anywhere between, I would probably say 70 to 74, 75, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Are usually good temperatures for.
And that's what the guys that won, they said they caught them. They had 7 or 8 bites, and they caught them all on a popping frog.
Yeah.
The old boy that won, dude, he's a super good fisherman. He's super hard-headed. You know what I mean? And that makes for a good fisherman. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta be hard-headed a little bit. You gotta
especially on Okeechobee.
Yeah, you gotta be stubborn.
Right. You can pick one thing and master it to the best of your ability, and then roll with it. And like I said, if you just don't put it down, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
No matter really what it is, whether it's with a flipping stick or swimming a jig or like Justin Morgan that won.
It definitely got a lot to do with confidence too.
Oh,
you got to go with you got to go with what you feel comfortable doing, man. Because you can go out there. I like to say now in tournament morning, I'm gonna put 2-3 rods on my deck, and I'm gonna put everything else in the box and leave it there. Because typically when you concentrate on whatever those 2 or 3 things is, or you moving something and you get you a follow-up bait or something, that's all you technically need for tournament morning, especially on Lake Okeechobee.
No, that's it, and especially when you got a team tournament going on. You know what I mean? You can cover twice as much area and be more efficient in a team tournament. And if you trust your partner and everything's meshes together, like you can really lean on each other and know that when my partner flips into a mat and he gets a bite, it's gonna go in the box. You know what I mean? And the same with that popping frog. And it goes to having the right rod and reel setup and all that stuff. Like that's just his thing, and he was able to lean on it. So
let's jump into rods, reels, tackle. From a very educational perspective at this point. Let's talk about some of the stuff that you was using out there for the 4th rolling qualifier. And
for me, it was pretty simple.
For both of us.
For both of us. It's when I was swimming a jig, I'd swim it on 65-pound Jeffery Brandon. I was using a 3/8 dirty jig. I put a Mac Daddy crawl on the back of it. I get them to pour me some of those that are a lot harder, so they just stay on. You can catch multiple fish on them. I use a 7/4-1 Metanium reel, and that's it. I don't want a fast high speed reel, that 8, 9, 10, where I'm pulling it too fast. I want to keep it down, let the jig do what the jig's designed to do, and not put too much reel behind it. And then pretty much the same thing for the flipping rod. I use a 7-11 arc. I like it heavy. I don't really much like like an extra heavy, seems like. You know, anywhere from 3/4 to a 2 ounce flat out tungsten, 65-pound braid. I actually used a high speed metanium reel. This is a Shimano. I'm trying to learn to flip left-handed, so
Really?
that yeah, I'm having problems with my elbows from flipping a big weight, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So for all these years, so I figured if I can
Change
you know,
over.
if I can change it up, you know, and I like to do it a little bit in practice. I don't feel comfortable yet when the money's on the line to
try
set
and
the
do
hook and reel left-handed.
Yeah.
But in practice, it doesn't put so much wear.
Pressure. Yeah.
So I'm able to spread some love around on my elbows there.
I never thought that would be something that you would have to do. I do know that there are a lot of flippers that actually do use their opposite hand when flipping.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but a lot of people like to flip it and then use the backhand to lock it and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if it gives them a better leverage or whatever. But
I mean, I've always leaned more to my left hand for flipping, and I've just got some tennis elbow that comes and goes throughout the year. So I figured instead of you know, say if we had a tour event and I had 2 or 3 days of practice and then 2, 3, 4 days of the tournament, like at least during practice I could
rest a
little bit, you know, do more with my right hand, you know, and stuff. And you know, at the end of the day, there's plenty of guys like, I mean, my team partner, he's right-handed, he eats right-handed, he writes right-handed,
everything right-handed.
Yep, everything right. I mean, he swims a jig right-handed. When he flips, he flips left-handed.
That's
you
crazy.
know, Bobby Lane. I mean, there's
a lot of guys.
There's a lot of flippers that go to left-handed reels. I've never been coordinated enough to do it. It's more of a necessity at this point than a luxury. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I still feel awkward.
It is still weird.
No, I can't do it.
It's gonna always be weird,
yeah.
just because you're not naturally that. I mean, until you teach yourself,
Sure.
You know, it takes time to develop something or redo something that you've done for a long time. So that's like with anything.
Yeah.
So for flip, so in the 4th qualifier of the rolling series, it was flipping, swimming a swim jig.
Yep.
3/8 ounce. I would agree. That week of practice before I found out about the ceremony, I was pretty much on the same bite, just a swim jig bite and a flipping bite. But there obviously, like always, is spraying every freaking thing that they think about looks good. I feel like they're just out there just spraying wherever they see boats at, they going to go spray. That is the most retardedest thing I've ever seen. That's annoying. To be able to fish something so well for so many days, and then as soon as they find out about it, you go back the next week or two and they just killed it all.
Yeah, no, I feel like they ride around, they look for boats. You know, I think the sprayers get the most accurate fishing report. Where you and I, we kind of halfway tell the truth to other guys. You know what I mean? Yeah, I caught them on the shoal.
They know where
the shoal's 12 miles. But I swear they get the accurate fish report. Oh, a tournament was one there. Well, we're gonna dump about 300,000 gallons of spray right there.
That's crazy.
I do, and it's been that way, you know, for forever. We can't use the big boat ramp here in Clewiston because there's hyacinths piled up in every boat slip. But you go out where the bass are spawning, and they're gonna spray.
That is insane.
You know,
how do you not want us to put our boats in the water? But
I know.
But
7 Mile Canal last time I went,
it was clogged.
It's clogged up.
It was clogged up.
God forbid we spray some of that. That would just be a disaster if we sprayed an actual navigable waterway.
It sucks too, man, when you get halfway from Clewiston and you're in the lakes, you know, 15 miles an hour, and you gotta take the Ring Canal. You get way up there and try to go down a 7 Mile cut and can't get out.
Yeah.
You gotta turn around and come back.
I know.
That's insane. But that's a whole nother story. We don't really want to go on that tangent, but I'm just saying, like, that
Yeah.
sucks to see such clean and healthy vegetation for 2 weeks, and then they find out about it and they come spray it.
Yeah.
That's the darnest thing. But anyway.
It is. And dude, I'm telling you, flipping on Okeechobee is getting harder and harder and harder because of the spraying. But I mean, I tell you, just the natural occurrence of how the lake is now, the higher the water, you know, everything gets blown into something. The hyacinths, the blown in chopped up grass and stuff like that. It has to rest on something to actually stay there. Whether it's cattail head, round reeds, blown up against the hard line, something like that. But under the current high water that we only have about this much of the reeds sticking out of the water.
Right.
So when the mats blow in, they'll stay. But then when the wind shifts, you know, Okeechobee, I mean, it's just a giant bowl. So if it blows from the east one day, it's going to raise the lake on the west, and vice versa. Blows from the north, it's going to raise it on the south. So the reeds that were this tall today, when the wind blows out of the north, now go to this.
Yeah.
And then the mats blown away.
Yeah.
So, but that's okay. I mean, that's Mother Nature. I can live with
deal
that.
with Mother Nature.
I can live with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, what I don't want to see is when they spray the mat and they come back in 2 weeks and the reeds are all gone because they're dead.
They dead. They laying there dark brown.
Yeah. Took them 2.5 years to get 4 foot tall, and now in 4 weeks they're dead. Gone. Never to be seen again. So,
that's crazy, bro.
But,
the South End looks terrible in some places.
You know, and I grew up, I was a Belglade boy. I lived down there my whole life.
Bro, it sucks to live in Belglade and have to drive all the way to Clewiston or to Okeechobee to get some good fishing in.
I know.
That is sad.
I know.
I'm a little upset about that because, for one, I live 2 minutes from the ramp. And to get in my boat and to go out there and you can't even find a good hard line to go get on most of the times because they done sprayed it all.
No.
It's insane. But anyway, we got the championship coming up December 9th and 10th, which is right now 2 weeks away. We got about 8 days, I guess. I guess typically. So we're super excited about that. That prize we're fishing for, what is it, 50,000?
I don't know what the final, what the actual, first place is gonna be. It's gonna be somewhere between 30 and 40, I would say.
30 and 40,000.
It all depends. For each qualifier they hold back a little bit. They hold, they hold back I think 10% for the championship.
Right.
And then they charge us a little bit more for the championship, which is great. So last year it was 30, if I remember right.
Yeah, 30,
so it's definitely going to be at least 30.
Yeah,
we've had 30. More boats this year than we've had in the last few years on average throughout the 4 tournaments. So I'm going to say it's going to be at least 30, maybe 40.
So let's talk about preparation. Like let's talk about preparation. Like we're 2 weeks out. If I wanted to prep, if I was a young guy that wanted to prep, what would be my starting preparation thoughts?
I mean,
generally speaking.
I mean, it's not a big secret how they get caught on Okeechobee. They get caught with a flipping stick, with a swim jig, with a frog, a big easy, a speed worm, stuff like that.
Yeah, it ain't gonna change.
No, I mean it's gonna be just. It's a 2-day tournament, so things have a lot of. I mean, you have to have a little more stuff to go to for 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't think that the lake is fishing well enough that you can win it off of a 100-yard stretch for 2 days.
No.
I think you're gonna have to have
multiple.
You're gonna have to have at least 2 of those that are gonna actually work.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna have one for Saturday and one for Sunday. And you may be able to pick up one from your Saturday spot on Sunday at some point, something like that. But, and like I said earlier, I mean, you need to have probably 10 good places to go to, because half of those aren't going to be as good as you think they are. That's just the law of averages.
Yeah.
And then 1 or 2 of those are probably going to be blown out from the weather.
Or fished out.
Or fished out. Or you get there and you're, they're probably going to be
boats up there.
Yeah, 200 boat field, and if you take off day one and you're 190 and you make it there, and there's 17 boats there,
it ain't gonna do you no good.
It's probably gonna be a little tough to catch them. I mean,
well, one thing we can say is that they have been catching some nice bags. They have been catching some fish lately.
Yeah,
it's hit or miss, but when you catch them,
yeah, for sure,
you can catch them. You can catch them right now. I think a lot of the guys are probably gonna still do the same stuff. They're gonna be swimming swim jigs. They're gonna be still flipping. And then they're gonna be still throwing that frog around. I mean, those are just common Lake Okeechobee baits.
Yeah.
Black and blue seems to be the all-time favorite here. A lot of people like to probably change colors, but I remember, Brian, you said a couple weeks back, man, you was just talking about I ain't really getting into all these different colors.
Nah, you really can't. I can't as an angler. There's just so much that goes into it. I don't think it matters, and I can't allow myself to make it think that it matters.
Right.
I mean, if I go somewhere and a buddy of mine tells me, "Hey, man, you need to throw a cotton candy colored worm," well, okay, I'll take his advice. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm not going to carry cotton candy red and cotton candy pink. I'm going to take what, and if they bite it, great. If not, then I go back to my green pumpkin. And we'll call it a day. I don't really think that color is going to make a whole lot of difference. But it, so.
It happens.
It happens. I mean, a lot of stuff's to sell fishermen too, which is good. I mean, I got a whole heap of stuff that I bought that sold me. So I'm not saying that I haven't fallen for the
deal.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I mean, at the end of the day, your boat's only so big, and
it can only hold
hold so much. So take what you have confidence in. If you like to throw a pink worm, then carry a whole pile of pink worms.
Right.
For me, it's pretty simple. Everything I got is some form of black and blue and some form of green pumpkin.
Right. I think that's cool though, man. It's just sticking with what you're comfortable with, sticking with what you're confident in having. Don't get caught so much into all the different colors, all this other type of stuff. If you into whatever you're into, stick to it, and you're gonna catch fish with whatever that is.
That's it.
That is very true. But look, man, we got the 2-day coming up. Y'all stay tuned for that. We gonna have some tournament prep stuff going on as we get closer to the tournament. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna do probably some stuff tournament the night before. Kickback. Maybe we'll have a couple guests to come on the show as well and kick back with us.
Yeah.
Grill out a little bit, make it a family event.
Yeah,
we're super excited though,
Absolutely. Bro. We're gonna have a good time. It's the biggest thing we get to fish around the lake. And it's the end of the year deal. Yeah, we're gonna have probably 200 boats. It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good showing. Yeah, like I said, I mean it's coming up in 10 days, something like that. Yeah. So it's gonna be exciting. We'll make a good time out of it. So stay tuned. We'll definitely have.
If you haven't done so already, go hit that like and subscribe button. We're super excited about what we're creating. I do think we have a one-of-a-kind kind of show, just due to the fact that Brandon here is a much better. Well, he has more experience in the fishing industry, and it's cool to be able to sit down and have these dialogues to, play the amateur side versus the pro side. We talked about that in the first show. If you haven't done so already, we'll link that video in the show. It's just talking about how, you could take a guy that's been on tour and been around the world and fishing at a very high level versus somebody that's getting started. So that's the uniqueness to our show, because we want to be able to educate, but we also want to provide some form of inspiration to another generation of people that could definitely come out and enjoy Lake Okeechobee. We want to see the lake in its most healthiest form.
Absolutely.
Whatever that looks like. And so we know that there are a lot of moving parts. that play a significant part in the lake. And so we want to just continue those conversations and pushing that conversation forward. So we're greatly appreciative of everybody that views the channel, everybody that likes and subscribe to the channel. And if we can get up these subscriber numbers up, right, we're going to start putting together some care packages to start taking care of you guys for taking care of us. So we appreciate that, man. We're super excited about it, man. We y'all just stay tuned. We're going to get out and do some fishing here soon, too. So stay tuned for that on the channel as well. Probably next time you guys will see us, we'll probably be on the boat getting some stuff done out on the lake. So we're super excited about that.
It's good. I like
Shout out to Mercury. Who else you want to?
Yeah, Mercury. You know, power pole. That was a big deal.
Power pole's a
couldn't
big
fish
deal.
in the wind without them. We're sitting in my buddy's boat. Mine's currently gone to get wrapped. Get it ready for the 2022 season.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
we're headed.
It's gonna be good.
We're headed.
Yeah.
So thank you guys, man. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. B Mac and MCA.